Bitcoin just had a huge pump. Wait, breaking. And just like that, it just dumped. This is Around the Blockchain. Thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. We're going to get right into it because we have some great guests on today, including my twin brother from another mother. That is right. It's a twin day. Hey, every time he talks about crypto, it sounds like a crescendo. I'm talking about my main brother, Lorenzo. Lorenzo, how are you doing today?
Hey, it's Lorenzo, the Italian CPA.
Hey, it's always a great time. Hey, today's episode brought to you by the Mario movie. All right, also on today, we have AJ writes crypto. Yes, he writes crypto, but he breathes Algorand. AJ, how are you doing?
I'm good. I've just been kind of crying into my comfort pillow here all day in the bathroom, just by myself, just crying. Nothing big.
All right. Hey, nothing wrong with that. And then we have one of the best Twitters and one of the best YouTubes in the business. They're making content 365, 24/7. You can catch Aaron and his twin brethren at Altcoin Daily, ACD. How are you doing today?
Doing great, DZ. Thanks for having me. Looking spiffy as usual.
Hey, I got the suit from you. It's for your movie premiere. What's that next movie you're about to plug?
Oh, man, you know what? I have various projects, I have multiple projects in various stages of development. Make sure you're subscribing and following us, and you'll be the first to hear about it.
Ooh, I can't wait. Maybe you'll see DZ photobombing on the red carpet. All right, let's get right into it and talk about the First Republic Bitcoin pump, and then a little bit of a dump. AJ, I mean, I could kind of go, we had a First Republic, yet another bank. It looked like another impending failure is right around on the horizon. It looks like that stock fell about 50% for, I believe it was the New York Stock Exchange. They halted all trading. That coincided with a nice, huge Bitcoin pump, but then we just dump. I saw a little bit of some breaking rumors. It looks like U.S. government wallets have been making some moves, and Mt. Gox wallets making some moves. Not confirmed yet. What are the charts telling you, though, AJ? I know it's right now. I'm seeing a lot of movement. I'm seeing giant 4-hour candles. I'm feeling FOMO for a trade. Are you seeing anything in the charts?
Yeah, 100%. Today has just been one of those days, just like super bipolar. Like, I feel bad for anyone who kind of got on the pump late. It was definitely looking at like the 1 hour, 30-minute charts. I could tell it was getting a little oversold. I did not do any trades today, unfortunately, super busy writing, but I wish I got in on the action, especially like when it started falling. Like, those are the kind of the things as a trader, once like the action starts to happen, and you like kind of talk yourself out of the trade. You feel like these are one of these days I just should have trusted my gut and went with it. But then again, like, it's okay if you're busy. Like, you have a bunch of stuff to do. You can't spend an hour looking at charts all day. So it's all good. But really, it's kind of like I saw the same tweet that the government sold $100 billion. I don't know if that's confirmed, but I saw the tweet, and it's a shame for First Republic. And this is kind of something I saw coming. Like, one of the times I was on Around the Blockchain like a month ago or so, I kind of felt like, the banks that fell, I kind of felt like they were just the first ones that fell. There's probably more to come. And for that happened today with First Republic. And it's a big bummer. And, you could also buy crypto through First Republic with FinCEN, like eToro or whatever. But maybe there's a connection there too. I'm not sure.
All right. And I just want to pull up the Bitcoin chart real quick. If you look at the 1 day, you see that massive spike. If you look at the weekly, though, the lines are almost just touching each other. Boom. Very, very sharp candle down. And then almost just an immediate, very, very acute angle there. Now, Lorenzo, it appears that the regulators are holding off on bailing out First Republic Bank. Again, this is still very, very early. Tune might change by tomorrow. But why do you think they're holding off on a bailout when the amount of money needed here is just a drop in the bucket compared to some of these other banks?
Well, I think they're giving it time. I mean, there's 3 directions that this goes. One, the bank stays in business. I mean, the CEO has been on record saying that they still have liquidity, that they can operate. Then you have another option. It's okay. Who's going to help us? Can we get investment from other banks or private equity or whatnot? And then, you have the third option. It's the receivership. It's when like the government agency comes in and takes over and manages the business, which is probably ultimately the worst option of the 3. But, they can decide what creditors to pay and whatnot. So, this is a sticky situation. You look there's a lot of problems going on in the world. And if you look back in 2008 2008, the last financial crisis, I mean, a bank did fail. Like one of them did go under, and there's reasons for it. So who knows where this is going to go? We really have a lot of problems, and I feel like this is just one of many, and we'll see. It's really time will tell.
Yeah, like you said, it's still very early. Like I said, the tune might change by tomorrow. Maybe some, drastic action in the middle of the night on Sunday, as they tend to do. Well, Altcoin Daily, the more conspiratorial people, they're leaning towards this is all a planned demolition of an old money bank that was friendly with crypto. Do you agree with that assessment? Is this some sort of planned destruction to pave the way for a CBDC?
Wow. What a bold question. So are we saying First Republic Bank was crypto friendly?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you're right. And that's another one. So we have First Republic, we have Silicon Valley, Signature, Silvergate. I mean, I think we have two separate issues with this question. Number one, are they trying to pave a way for a CBDC? Yes. Are they trying to take out crypto? Yeah, in many ways they are. Now, is this specifically a way to take out crypto and promote a CBDC? I don't know. I need to be convinced. I don't know if that's a direct correlation there. However, I do know that something I'm sick and tired of is them trying to paint crypto as this dark, nefarious thing, pump and dumps and scams, and certainly there are those. But to say that the traditional banking sector is much better, it's safer in some ways, but there's a lot of problems there as well. So, people like Elizabeth Warren and different politicians who say banking is safe, crypto is not. That's why we do what we do, DZ, Lorenzo, AJ Writes Crypto, to try and show people that, first of all, are they trying to do stuff in a back room to create a CBDC? Hell yes, they are. And that, it speaks to the beauty of Bitcoin and crypto, where with Bitcoin, it's open, the monetary policy is set in stone, and it gives people a way to opt out for a more open and transparent world.
Do you ever see a future where you go to the bank and the bank that issues you CBDCs, will you also be able to buy Bitcoin at this bank?
I think banks will offer Bitcoin deposits eventually. Nowhere soon, I don't think. I mean, like I just set up a business account recently, and they were like, "Do you take payments in Bitcoin?" And I said, "No, this will just be for U.S. dollars." But I said, "What happens if I do take payments in Bitcoin because I work in crypto?" And they said, "Well, you know what? Just 3 months from now, as we do our due diligence, we just from this teller was telling me from what I've seen." It's just a 3-month process. In 3 months, they'll say you're too risky to do business with. So them actually dealing with Bitcoin, that's a long ways away. Them dealing with CBDCs, oh, hell yeah, buddy. Get ready.
Yeah, I'm seeing the same thing with business account over at my end with Truist. Did you then just follow up? No, it's only going to be USD. That's probably going to be my move. Cough out the C, cough out the T there. Lorenzo, kind of similar question. We fast forward. They're a crypto-friendly bank. You can get a CBDC. Not only am I asking, all right, sure, maybe Bitcoin. This is the future. They do offer Bitcoin. Will they ever offer meme coins like, say, a Pepe?
Pepe. I mean, you got to look at it like this. This is how I see it. As a bank, one of the biggest things I think it's not so much just accepting crypto, but it's like once we have it in, what could we do with it? And I think that's where a lot of the rules need to be put in place, right? And that's if you look at why we're in this banking crisis, a lot of it was on leverage, right? So you're leveraging up your deposits. So what ends up happening is if I'm, like let's say I'm collecting Bitcoin, I want to go to the bank and I want to leverage off my Bitcoin, which you can do, and have any private banking relationship. You go and you say, I have Apple stock, I want to leverage off of it. I mean, that's what happened with Silicon Valley Bank over there. They're going and bringing their equity interest in their startups and they're leveraging off of it. Why couldn't you leverage off your Bitcoin? I mean, we do this in DeFi. So eventually, I think the banks are going to allow for that. And personally, what I think is going to happen is you're starting to see this outside the United States. So now we're starting to see outside pressure. So banks outside are probably going to start doing this. And then it's going to say, okay, we're United States banks. What regulation do we need to put in place and rules do we need to put in place to properly, evaluate the risk associated to that? If I got to leverage off of your Bitcoin, and Aaron, if you want to give me whatever amount of Bitcoin to go buy your house or to leverage off of which you can do with cash or equities, how's that going to look? And I think that's probably the biggest question mark on that needs to be figured out with these banks. And then in addition, right, I think you're going to be able to buy Bitcoin at a bank or get it through your 401k and diversify in some sort of way. That's, I think, the future of this. This is what we all want to see happen. Now, I want to be able to put a little bit of money in Bitcoin for my 401k. But now you got to think, okay, that sounds so easy. What's the repercussions on the back end that need to be figured out? And I think that's what we don't talk about enough. It's like on the back end of the bank, how are all those rules handled? What do they need to put in place? What risk measures do they need to put in place? And you can really compare it to traditional finance because we do this they do this every day.
Yeah, laying the groundwork for those capital controls would take a long, long time. AJ, just real quick, I'm going to kind of split the difference between the two questions there. AJ, at what year can I buy Dogecoin from my local bank?
Ooh, 2030.
Okay, all right. You know what? Just keeping it short and breezy. You're getting 4 points. You're getting more than the other guys there. All right, now we're going to move on here, and this is some realization me and AJ came to terms with, at least in our 20s. You must accept that you are now more poor. No, that is not a joke. This is an actual headline. If you share here, this is Columbia Law School's podcast had this, and this was a top Bank of England economist here. People must accept the fact that they are becoming poorer. You just, look, guys, you're just going to have to accept it. You got to swallow that pill. Here's a quote. If the cost of what you're buying has gone up compared to what you're selling, you're going to be worse off. Wait a minute. Prices go up, but my income doesn't match that. I guess I'm going to be worse off. That is news to me. Had no idea it would work that way. Also, he says people should not ask their employers for significant wage increases, or this will lead to worse inflation. Altcoin Daily, what do you take away from that? Is he being nefarious in some sort of weird, you're going to eat bugs future agenda? Or, look, he works for the Bank of England. This is what he's doing to just kind of curb inflation. Do you see this as a just patently evil man here? Is he just, maybe stuck between a rock and a hard spot? You're muted. You're muted. That might have been him.
Sorry. No. There's some sirens were going on in the background. But interesting question, DZ. And I think he's right in that people need to accept reality, that the world is different and things are harder to many degrees. Now, should they accept that they have to basically live forever lowly in this world? You really shouldn't accept that. You should strive for better. I mean, Tucker Carlson just got fired. And so the Tucker Carlson clips have been making the rounds on social media. And I saw this one clip. He was on Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire show for the Sunday podcast. And, Tucker Carlson, both of those guys Republicans, but Tucker Carlson actually making the case that, he understands why, people are calling for socialism and UBI. It's because, people graduate college and to just get a car, to get a home, to get a decent salary, it's impossible. People can't do it. Less people are buying homes, less people are able to, make a life for themselves like they could 60 years ago. So the fact that people want something like socialism and UBI, as Tucker Carlson said, although I don't agree with it, I can see why people want that. And, the world we live in today, it's really not set up in a lot of ways to make, regular people like you and me do well. Now, you and me are doing reasonably well, and we've taken risks. And, that's what I encourage to, people on the 9 to 5 lifestyle right now is, especially if you're in your 20s, figure out a way where you're able to, and you're going to have to, choose how you spend your time, what people you hang out with the right people, spend your time right. And by the time you're in your 30s, you can have a better life. And hopefully, I'm not in my 40s, but hopefully when I'm in my 40s, I'll have an even better life. Well, you are the company you keep. What if you have a twin? What does that mean? If you have a twin or a brother, there's nobody better in the vast majority of cases to get into business with, somebody you can trust. So, utilize that. If you have somebody you can really trust, utilize that. Is there an evil one? Yeah, the third Arnold. Yeah, for sure. Okay, I knew it. All right, well, AJ, I think it's a great thing to say. This 9 to 5 mentality. We got to get out of the rat race. Not referring to my first job at Chuck E. Cheese, where I would don the Chucky suit. I would race to the stage and, sing happy birthday. It's a different type of rat race where
your wages aren't keeping up with inflation. You're feeling more and more poor every year. You're paying off the student loan. You swore you paid off 10,000. You look at the balance, it's barely down 2,000. You're stuck in this rat race. What advice would you give to someone that just to get out of that 9 to 5 mentality? What's some actionable things they can do?
Yeah, 100%. Dave Chappelle did a bit along, I don't know how long ago, but he said basically that being poor is a mindset, being poor is a mentality. We were broke, as in like kind of distancing himself from like being poor. Like, yeah, they didn't have money, but that didn't mean he was poor. And that kind of really resonated with me. That always resonated with me. I kind of like know a lot of people in my life that kind of put these walls up for themselves. They create these barriers and like they make excuses for why they can't do things because they're in a lack mentality. Like my girlfriend and I, we always have this conversation like, don't say like, I always mess this up or just saying those words, you're like you're manifesting that reality. You're making it real by saying that I can't do this or I can't do that. If you like focus on the positive, because you're either going to focus on the negative and dwell on it, or you could focus on the positive and put your thoughts into action and like manifest what you really want in life. Like, for me, for example, I was working at, my dad's motorcycle shop, racing motocross on the weekends, and I had a just fine life going, but like I broke my arm and COVID happened and I had like a lot of time to focus on my life. And that's when I decided that like, you know what, I want to give this crypto thing my all. And I gave it my all. I planned every minute of every day. I focused on it 24/7 and now I work here. And it's just like, if I can do it, trust me, you can too. You just have to focus and you have to want it more than everybody else.
All right. Great advice there. Now, Lorenzo, I just kind of want to unpack your thoughts overall. What do you hear and what do you translate out of this when you hear a top economist at the Bank of England saying, just accept it. You're going to be poor, dummy. Do you want to fight back against that? Or, to kind of what the guests are saying, should we maybe take some of that in and maybe try to learn from that?
Goes more on the conspiracy theory kind of motive, but honestly, is it really that wrong? I mean, I feel like where we're leading to. Everything's become so expensive as we were just talking about. And what can you do? And if I can give any advice to that, it's look at your situation. For anyone who's struggling, you have to look and see, and the answer sometimes is not cost cutting, because people cost cut, but when everything gets more money, the only option is make more money. And if you have to make more money, it can be so easy. I feel like, when I was growing the business, it was so hard for so long. And then all of a sudden it just got easy. And if you can make it easy for yourself by either doing something that you really enjoy or finding a niche in the market and hitting that and focusing. A lot of people spread themselves too thin and try to have too many ideas. If you can find an idea that you like, stick to it and be consistent. Like it's like working out. I was talking to my little cousin. He's 17 years old. He's going to be a senior. He's like, time's flying, Lorenzo. Next year I'm going to be a senior. And he's been working out. He's a big boy, but he was bench pressing like 100 pounds 2 years ago. And now he's doing like 300 pounds. And I said, look, Vincenzo, as consistent as you're consistent, you see results. And that's what anything in life. So just stick to something. Find something you like, find something you could do, and you can figure out ways to enjoy it and have fun. I didn't always love being a CPA, but I found a way to enjoy it. And that's doing really when I started doing crypto and planning and finding the right clients that I would actually go out with and share a beer with and go to a conference together. That's when I really started having fun in the industry. So I would suggest that, right? If you really feel like you're in this rat race, you got to make more money. It's the only option sometimes.
Lorenzo,
will
do. Have you ever seen The Accountant?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say you could also moonlight as an assassin on the side if you're bored as a CPA. There's just it worked for Ben Affleck. Better than his J-Lo marriage at least. All right, well let's move on here and talk about SUI. It's a little bit of a bummer, folks. There is no free money hitting your wallet. Bum, bum, bum. Unfortunately, they had confirmed it over and over, but just the latest confirmation really seemed to put a nail in the coffin that there will not be a SUI airdrop because they've released the details of their, I would say, arguably an ICO here. It's going to be on a few exchanges. You can pre-buy. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get them right. Alibaba is who they're using it for their cloud services, but I know it's KuCoin, we'll say it's maybe Bybit. I'll have to check it out, but you can only buy in on a pre-sale if you're messing around with the DevNet. If you're like me, you're requesting your free SUI tokens, you're not going to end up getting anything. So just, don't expect that big payday there. Now, AJ, we've talked about free money. We've talked about the airdrop strategies. Is there any other opportunity maybe with SUI DEXs or, SUI NFTs? Would you give up on SUI for free money, or is there another angle?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like, a lot of people did expect an airdrop for this one. I remember when I was working on the airdrop video for Ben, this was one that kept coming up on my list. Luckily, I didn't dive into it because it didn't happen. But also with this coin first coming out, it's kind of like people are always on the fence on if they should or should not get into a coin when it first comes out. Like if you wanted to make money trading it or whatever. I mean, more times than not, I kind of sit on the sidelines when things are first released. I mean, there are exceptions like Blocktopia in 21, I believe, did really good when it first popped off. But a lot of times when a coin first comes out, you kind of see the chart starts up here and then it falls and then it settles, and the profitability is kind of after it settles. So I personally, I'm going to be on the sidelines for this one until I kind of learn more about what it's about, its utility, how many people use it, how many people talk about it, X, Y, and Z. I'm just kind of watching this one.
All right. Well, speaking of watching this one, altcoin, a lot of people have been watching this since it was DM. It was early with the Facebook Libra coin. It was going to be Facebook's coin. Government did not like it. Facebook just abandoned the project. The two devs, they split up. They went a couple different directions. Altcoin Daily, what does that concern you when you think of SUI? Are you going to stay away from this one because of a loose association with the Zuckman?
It has really no bearing on my thoughts on the project. I mean, if anything, it's a selling point that the team, similar to the Aptos team, except SUI has no direct relation with Aptos, but they're previously Facebook, previously DM, and for that, I guess that's a selling point, right? Now, as far as like what makes SUI different from all these other alternative L1s, it's faster, cheaper, but it's not. I mean, that is the selling point, in my opinion, that it's people previously Facebook is working on it. And again, although there's no direct relation to Aptos, it's kind of like people think of it like the same way. Aptos kind of got out there in the mainstream media right away that SUI is going to do it too. But, it's basically just like an alternative layer one, similar to, it's not, there are differences, but it's like, like an Aptos, like Avalanche, like, Pulse probably. And, for that, it's, very similar to alternatives.
Altcoin, did you sack?
No.
Okay. It was okay if you don't want to answer. I was just wondering. All right. I do want to share a couple. We do have it's Bybit, OKX, and KuCoin is where you can get the token sale. It's going to be on May 3rd. A couple more details. Going to be 225 million tokens, maximum allocation of 10,000 per user at 10 cents each. So that means each person could put in roughly $1,000 as long as those exchanges have robust KYCs. That will be Lorenzo. It's a L1. It's hitting the scene. It's is this a L1 season for you? Are you thinking about L1s? Is there anything stealing the spotlight from L1s? What's your L1 thesis, for the next couple of years here?
Dogecoin.
Okay.
Well, I'm behind Elon. I don't know. It's just like if it wasn't for Elon, I wouldn't say this. I mean, the guy wants to replace the logo. I think it's something to. And listen, we're going to sit here and name drop any coins. I think that you have to think what's your personal situation. And if you have a little bit of money sitting on the sideline and you want to get into something that may make something, I mean, it was sitting at what did it hit? Almost 70 something cents, when it was the SNL whole run. I mean, it's sitting at 8 cents. So, I mean, I don't see why you couldn't get a 10x out of Dogecoin.
Okay, all right. So Doge is the L1. Hey, I do say that you're probably pretty safe holding on to that coin for 2 years. Not financial advice. That's my 2 cents. And Lorenzo, anyone ever tell you sound like Dave Portnoy?
Do I? He was just in Italy, right? Ciao, scusi, ciao.
Like the
a little bit. If you ever do pizza reviews, Lorenzo, I'm definitely going to be watching that. Someone sounds like Dave. We kind of look like, hey, it's a channel built for me because I'm lactose intolerant, so I must live vicariously through your stomach. All right, I think that's all we have time for, but I do want to do an around the blockchain. Actually, altcoin, go ahead. Did you want to add something?
No, I did want to just have a question for you, DC.
Yes.
You know, I have no association with SUI. You know, it's just making news. But like, you know, people are going to be looking at this, maybe get interested. Give us the other side of the case now. Why should people avoid SUI like the plague?
Great question. It is going to be probably a pump and dump insider. I would expect a robust selling pressure from people who got the coins. Spoiler alert. Here, I'll encapsulate it one thing here. We can all get in at 10 cents. There's people who got in much, 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 much cheaper. Maybe wait for the dump. You might be able to find a more attractive entry point. Altcoin Daily, would you agree with that assessment?
I agree, man. And this is why I subscribe to you, because you keep things real. Give us two sides of the coin.
All right. Hey, that's what we're trying to do here. And also, I don't say I exactly love the Facebook connection there as well. But hey, some people love Instagram still. Some people like Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce, which is one of our sponsors today. That's all we actually have time for. Looks like we have Altcoin Daily ended up taking it. Aaron, man, you ended up scaring away the competition. So Altcoin Daily, feel free. Leave us with some parting thoughts.
Hey, everybody. Listen up very closely. First of all, thank you, DZ and the Bitboy organization for having me on today. I'm going to start following Lorenzo and AJ. I just did it, and I encourage everybody to follow them. And just speaking about this next coming bull market in general, guys, this is, who knows if there's going to be another big one 4 5 years from now. But, you know, I think for sure Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the cryptocurrency space have another major bull run on the horizon, and we're probably, the lows are in. And so this is the time to really get involved. Everybody's going to be getting involved in a year or two whenever, you know, Bitcoin or Ethereum gets past all-time highs. But now is really the time to get involved, and it'd be most advantageous in my opinion.
And actually Altcoin Daily's last video, they go over a bullish case scenario for Bitcoin, and the one before that, they give you a little altcoin pick, people. So, hey, they're not Altcoin Daily for nothing. You're going to have to watch the video to see what it is. That's all we got. Make sure you go down into the description. Follow all these people like Altcoin Daily said. Leave a like. Leave a comment if you want. That's all we have. Easy out.